All right, we got a lot of requests to give a walkthrough of our boat. So this week's episode is a walkthrough, and you can see what the boat looks like on the inside, on the outside, and some of the minor changes that we've done ourselves. As you can see in the background, we are right now headed for the Marquesas Keys, which are about 30 miles west of Key West. So this is Key West over here in the background. And hopefully we'll have some really good footage of some spearfishing from this weekend's trip. Tomorrow is the first day of grouper season, so hopefully we get some nice grouper, some hogfish, maybe some mangrove snapper, mutton snapper. We'll see what we end up with.
So do you think we should take this time to address the elephant in the room?
Who is the elephant in the room? Are you talking about my weight gain?
No. I'm referring to, in our first episode, we said we're completely vegan, and now we're out trying to go get some grouper.
Well, so we were vegan for about a year, and the reason we did it was I thought it might help with my blood test results and high blood pressure, and it did help to some degree, but we're slowly reintroducing seafood back into our diet and seeing how that impacts it. So we're not hypocrites.
No, because the reason is if you kill a fish, you got to eat the fish.
Right. We eat everything we kill, and so that's what we're going to be doing in next week's episode. You will see the spearfishing extravaganza video.
So stay tuned. Next week's episode is going to be epic.
Here we are, and this is a Leopard 43 PC, and I'll give you a quick tour, show you around some of the features. So here we are on the front deck, and up front here we have a 100-gallon water tank, and there's some extra storage in here as well. There isn't a water hookup, but you can see the tank is here, and then we have some life jackets and some shades actually stored away in here, and some lines and a few other things. It's actually larger than it looks. Over here we have what we call the garage, which is another storage area, and in this storage area we have the second 100-gallon water tank. We also use it for keeping our bicycles in. We have bumpers in there, some extra lines, some more life jackets, that sort of thing, gas. Here we have the anchor locker. It's a little dirty, but you can kind of get an idea. And so the anchor drops down in the middle of the boat here, and then we tie up a bridle up front, keeps us from fishtailing back and forth at anchor. And right over here we have an additional storage, which is quite large, and I keep a lot of tools, spare parts, that sort of thing in here. So that's pretty much the front of the boat. So now this is a look at the bow from looking at it from aft, and it gives you a little different perspective, and you kind of get an idea of how much room is up here, which we use quite a bit. So this entire area, as you can see, we have probably about 8 feet across here, and I don't know, maybe 12 feet this way. Actually, probably more than that. But when you're cruising, it's actually very nice sometimes when you're cruising along to come up here and when the seas are nice, and just sit up here and kind of watch things, and you might see dolphin, you might see any kind of animal life that's interesting or happens to be passing by at the time. In the clear waters of the Bahamas, you can look down in the water and see everything as you're skimming across the front of it. So we have one here, and we also have another one here, which, as you can see, is a hose holder right now. So we use the hose a lot when we're at the dock, so we just keep this very, very handy in order for spraying things off. And as you can see, and we'll get to this as we move up top, but here is an area up top for laying out and enjoying the sun, either while you're cruising or at anchor. All right, so now we're going to walk around the port side of the boat and show you what it looks like. Here we got actually some really nice 2-inch rails going all the way around the boat, so very safe and secure, and lots of hand grabs as you're walking around the boat, so when you're in inclement weather you feel pretty safe. Right here is a hatch that's going into the forward port bedroom, and so pretty nice for when you're on anchor, allowing air in. Here we have another ventilation hatch, and this goes down to the port side bathroom, which is shared between the forward and aft bedrooms on the port side. And here is the port ventilation hatch for the aft bedroom. And we'll work our way down. Now, as you can see, I'm on the port side sugar scoop, which is quite large, has a swim ladder on it. This is nice. We've used it several times for snorkeling off or diving off or whatever it is we need to do. And then here we have the dinghy hanging here, and we'll get into a little bit about the dinghy later, because that was quite the project. This is kind of the aft sitting area. You can put cushions all along here, and we're considering doing that, but right now we put these temporary cushions wherever we're sitting. We find that it makes it easier to hose everything down and wash everything later. So although we really like the look of the cushions, this is really, really practical. It allows us to keep it clean back here very easily. And as you can see, we're looking into the back of the saloon, and this all obviously closes up and opens up as needed. So we generally, when it's nice weather and we got a little bit of breeze, we open everything up. So back here, I think this is a rather nice feature as well, is you can sit here if you want to sit back here and chill out, relax, have a nice view when the dinghy's not hanging in your way. Or if you have a bunch of people here and you want to have a meal or just hang out, this moves forward and now you have a seating area here. And again, I can just take these temporary cushions and just move them over to the other side. Again, we find that to be very convenient. Below here, there's a hatch where there's storage. We have the life raft in here, which we're probably going to move. We also have some other items stored here. Right here, we have the propane tanks that are used for the kitchen stove, but we also throw in a bunch of other spare things, hoses, lines that I use on a somewhat regular basis. And here we have a cute little dog who wants to be in the middle of everything. That's Livvy, by the way. Here's another storage hatch, and this is actually quite large. I have all the dive gear, snorkeling gear. There's probably 8 sets of snorkeling gear in there. Also buoyancy compensators, things for diving as well. And as you can see, I normally strap a couple of tanks back here. I actually had 6 tanks strapped back here when needed. So this is quite a convenient place. I take these straps, strap them down, and they don't move. And we've been in some pretty rough seas and they've stayed there. All right, I'm gonna walk upstairs. So we're up here on the Flybridge, and right here we have, I don't know what you call this, maybe a wet bar. There is a sink with a faucet. We do have an electric grill, which, as you can tell, gets used a lot. Just used yesterday, but it's been quite reliable. We have a refrigerator, a freezer, a little bit of freezer space, mostly refrigerator. And we have some cabinet space here. Here we have a pull-out garbage. So this little area we use quite a bit because when we're running, especially in long distance, I can sit here and be running the boat. We can have drinks up here, we can cook up here, and we can eat up here. As you can tell, up here there's a nice sitting area with a place to eat. So right here, this sitting here is a kind of temporary. This is a refrigerator freezer, which we really like. We put it here because we were doing a long trip with another couple. We were concerned about having enough space. The thing I love about this is it has 2 compartments, and you can set them up any way you want. So you can have 2 refrigerators, 2 freezers, 1 fridge, 1 freezer, any combination. One is larger than the other. Now we have it sitting here, and you'll see there's a power cord that's plugged into an outlet over there. So this is all very, very temporary. We've actually ordered a dock box that's going to go back here along the back rail, and then this will be in there, and it'll be wired to the battery as well as AC. So it'll run off AC until the AC cuts off, and then it'll automatically switch over to battery, and it'll be over here in a dock box protected from the weather. We do use this a lot. We put a lot of stuff in there, so it is great for long trips. So now walking up front, as you can see, we have these temporary cushions everywhere, and even on the cushioned areas, sometimes we use them because they feel nice on your bottom side. Right here is the helm. You see we have 2 Raymarine MFDs, a handheld VHF that's wired to the main VHF, autopilot, and then the engine controls are here. Right here, this is an external port for putting in the SIM chips so they don't have to crawl around the back. So there's actually quite a bit of storage as well up here on the Flybridge. So underneath all of these seats, you have storage. So if you look into here, plenty of storage. And this whole seat underneath here is all storage. Underneath this seat over here is all storage. And then also under here, under the captain's seat, is all storage as well. So really a lot of storage on this boat, and to be quite honest, we don't even use all of it. We kind of cramp some of the stuff in areas that are more convenient, but certainly there's a lot of storage on this boat. We're rearranging things now to where we're bringing all the fishing gear up here so that it stays up here well protected out of the weather until we're ready to fish. Another thing that we have found very handy, because we have storage compartments all over the boat, we have a spreadsheet where we notate where everything is and what hatched, because when we start looking for things we can't remember where we put it. So that's something that's helped us quite a bit. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of self-discipline. However, you'll thank yourself for it later when you're looking for a fuse or you're looking for any particular item that you just can't remember where you put it. All right, and all of this encloses with isinglass. We have the isinglass rolled up or removed in some areas. Probably something that's on our list of things to do over the next several months to get the isinglass in better shape. It works, it's there, but it needs some TLC. You can also walk through here. There's a little door here that either you can either have it shut or open, whatever works best for you. And right here is kind of a sun pad area, and most people have a sun pad here. We do not, because again, we find it extremely convenient to use the temporary cushions here, and we just set them here. You can sit on them, or you can actually lay them out if you want to lay here, and then it makes it very easy just to pull them in and spray this down and clean everything up on a regular basis. It makes life so much easier. So we really like the look of having the cushion, and it would be really, really nice, but that means pulling it up, moving it, another maintenance item, and we're trying to enjoy our cruising time as much as possible by compromising a little bit on some of the luxuries in order to have less maintenance. Okay, so here we are in the main saloon, and you're looking towards the aft side of the boat. As you can see, we've got everything opened up. Cindy and I actually put these blinds up, which come from Home Depot. Believe it or not, they work wonderfully. They cut them to whatever size you want, and you can either have a manual like that, or if you like, you can actually put a motor on them, and they're electronic and close electrically. So we installed these, and they're actually working excellently for this particular application. Right here we have a hanging TV, so just pull this up, this comes out, and we can lay here in the couch. Actually, we'll look at this a little bit later, but the couch pushes down into a nice sized bed. Sometimes we just push it down, we put a blanket out, and we can just lounge here and watch TV from time to time. We're not big TV watchers, but every once in a while we get hooked into a Netflix series that we binge on. Okay. Also, I might as well mention here, hanging here, we have headsets, and some friends of ours that have the same exact boat recommended them. And they're wonderful because when we're leaving a dock or coming to a dock, we can sit and talk to each other at a civilized tone. Because even when you're talking to each other in a civil way and you're yelling at each other, it just sometimes leads to more complicated relationships. So we decided for our sanity and relationship, we buy the headset and we could talk to each other at a comfortable level and not have to yell at each other, to hear each other. Wonderful thing. Highly recommended. Here we have the wonderful electronics panel. So in here you have the stereo control, you have the AC control, all the breakers, and then you have the main VHF radio here. There also is a stereo control up top in the Flybridge, and there is one near the front of the boat on the door coming in from the bow. And so here we just have some things that we use from on a frequent basis. We have a portable VHF that we take on the dinghy with us. This is a remote for the electronic control blinds, and then we have some outlets here, and actually a control for the refrigerator freezer upstairs. Right here, we have a drawer type freezer, drawer type refrigerator. So all in all, we have basically 3 freezers, 3 refrigerators overall in order to be able to store all the stuff that we want for a long trip. As I'm moving forward towards the bow, here you have the stove. This is the propane stove and propane oven down here, which actually gets used quite a bit. And we have storage space here and then storage space below the oven. Up here, just toaster, microwave oven, and a coffee maker that we use quite frequently. Next to the sink here, we actually have a little area which is used for drying your plates and flatware when you are done washing it. So you just wash it, throw it in there, and then pull it out when it's dry. We have a couple of areas here, garbage cans, and then all of this cabinet space here is plates, cups, all of that kind of stuff. Oh yes, continuing to walk through, this is normally where I sit when I'm working, and it's actually very comfortable. I enjoy it. I can plug my computer in over here. This outlet was not there. Excuse me. I added this outlet in order to be able to charge my computer when I'm sitting here at the table. So what else is nice about this? This table will spin, it goes down. It's normally not in this position. It's normally spun 90 degrees. We like it better this way because it gives better access in on this side because of the arm on the edge. If I turn it the other way, it's hard to get in and out of there. So we normally keep it this way. However, if I spin it 90 degrees, I push it down, there's a cushion that goes on top of it, and this becomes one big extra bed. And as I mentioned, we use it for in the evenings when we want to just relax, chill, and watch a movie, pull the TV out. And there is storage under here, which I'm going to go ahead and tell you now is a pain in the butt to get to. Lifting the cushions all the time. So what a lot of people have done is they open a hatch from the back side and they access this storage from the back with just opening a hatch. It makes it a lot more convenient. Right, this up here is I guess a navigation center, and we do kind of use it as a navigation center, but this is mainly Cindy's area of work. She likes this little cubby hole here, and this is where she spends the bulk of her time working. Kind of difficult right now with her computer here, but there is storage under here. And up here we have put another autopilot. Cindy and I installed that, and this little holder for the iPad, so that this iPad can do duplicate the image on the Raymarine, and so we can see everything that's on the Raymarine here, and we have the autopilot here, so we can actually control the boat from down here. Now obviously we're not going to be using this for high traffic areas, but when we're out in open areas, this works just fine. Looking up here again, we have more of the same blinds that again Cindy and I installed, and due a little bit to my anal nature, I wanted them to hang exactly flush with the bottom, or actually the top of the windows. So what her and I did was we removed all of the ceiling panels. We installed the blinds. As you can see, they're all flush, or even straight across, but the ceiling curves. So we removed all the panels, installed the blinds, and then we cut the panels and then put them back up there so that it ends up with this finished look. So over here in the corner, as you can see, there is kind of some bookshelves, and we did have a bunch of books there, maps, cruising guides, all that kind of stuff. But we figured we wanted something there that was a little bit more important to us, that's easily accessible. So as you can see, we've turned it into somewhat of a little bar. The other thing that's kind of nice about this boat, that even in the saloon, there's storage areas that Leopard took the time to add. So normally in any hole there's areas that you just can't access, but there's some good space. But here they've put in these storage areas. So you just lift this up and you have some pretty nice storage areas, where we have a storage area that is committed to everything. This one's got all kinds of cleaning supplies in it, a little vacuum cleaner, microcloths, all that kind of stuff. Here we have all kinds of computer stuff, and then here's some more boat repair type items and tools. We have seen where other people have put an additional hatch here, and I'm told that Just Cats will do that for you. I'm not sure how much they charge for something like that, but there's some additional space here that can be used for additional kitchen items or whatever it is that you need to store. So I've talked a little bit about the blinds that we've installed both forward and aft, but we also installed them on the side windows. Now, it was a little bit of a risk because we weren't sure how this was going to work out, because the area that you have to install them is at a little bit of an angle, as you can see the slope. And they don't work perfectly, but they work good enough, and they actually look pretty good. So if you take a look at this here, I can actually grab the bottom of this and I can push it up, and it goes up there. It's out of the way. It's completely hidden. The same with the aft side curtain there, or blind, and same on the other side. So again, these were Home Depot blinds that actually worked perfectly on this boat. All right, so I'm on the starboard side of the saloon, and so what we'll do is we'll work our way down into the starboard side cabin area. This is a owner's version of the Leopard 43 PC, which means that it has one stateroom on the starboard side, 2 staterooms on the port side. So let's go ahead and go on down and take a look at the starboard side. Now, as you can tell, the dog always gets first dibs on the bed, and we spend all night fighting for a little bit of space. So there she is already. She saw me coming down here and was staking her claim without giving me a chance. She's learned this over the years. So right here we have the bedroom area, as you can see, and you have a ventilation window on the back, a ventilation hatch on the roof, and then a ventilation window on the left. The windows are a little dirty from our last trip, but pretty views when the windows aren't filthy dirty, as they are right now. Right here we have a door that closes. So this closes off, so the owners can shut themselves off from the rest of the world and have their own privacy. So in the starboard side, each bedroom has its own door that shuts off, whereas this one doesn't. You have to shut the whole side off here, which we like. Right here, we have a hanging closet, and this is the one that I'm allowed to use. And so it pulls out right here, and you can see I can hang quite a few clothes in here. I can actually get some more stuff in there. Works fairly well. Nice hanging closet. And then we have 3 drawers here. Cindy has dibs on all 3 of these, so I don't put anything in here. And we have a little basket of hats and our printer that we use because we both work from home and we need a printer from time to time. So that's right here. And it's wireless, so it makes it very convenient. Beside, we have a little desk area here. And so this is a little desk area where you would keep any kind of spare paper. Cindy keeps a bunch of extra cartridges in here. And then here is more of a vanity mirror, and good place to keep all of the makeup. And Cindy sits here and makes herself even more beautiful than she normally is with all of her special potions and paints. So also down here on both aft beds, both on the port side and on the starboard side, we do have the engines underneath the bed. So there is a an opening piston here that you push the button, it opens up, and you actually have access to the engine. And it's a little cramped in here, but I find it actually not so bad. You light it up and you can actually see in the entire engine compartment. Now when we got this boat, it was not new. The engines had about 800 hours on them, but they are almost in pristine condition. Everything is in beautifully working condition, and we have an excellent mechanic that's helped me go through and ensure that everything is 100% operational. So now we're looking towards the forward, the bow side of the starboard side of the boat. And so here is another locker, and it's divided into 4 sections and quite a bit of space. So this is where I keep all my shoes, my shorts and shirts, underwear, all that kind of stuff. And I actually have a lot more space than I need. So works out very handy. And then up here is the master head, walk-in shower, which I find to be plenty roomy enough. And Cindy and I recently installed this. We were able to get it in here by ourselves, and it's worked out pretty handy. We don't use it much when we're out on a trip, but being here at the marina, we like the convenience of throwing a load in there and not having to leave the boat. And again, you have a hatch above the shower, gives you some ventilation, another ventilation window here, looking out the side, and then a sink, some storage, and then a vanity cabinet here, where you have more storage space. All right, so now we're on the port side of the boat. We're going to go down into the port side hole and look at the 2 guest bedrooms and guest bathroom that are down there. So down here, this is the forward cabin, and as you can see, there is a door right here that will shut once I move the carpet. So this room here has their own door. They can shut it off, has its own AC vent, and then you have basically a bedroom with another sleeping area up front that's mainly for a kid, maybe. I've actually laid in it when it's not full of junk, and I could sleep in there quite comfortably. Of course, I'm only about 5'9", so but for me, it was actually kind of comfortable. And again, you have ventilation up top, ventilation on the side, and then you have a fan up here, and all the bedrooms have a fan in them, as well as air conditioning vents. And on this side, you have another hanging closet, and this is the one that Cindy has claimed for her own. And so you can see all her fine cruising wear, neatly organized. And then here you have the shared bathroom for the port side bedrooms. Right here is the shower. Everything kind of gets wet in here when you shower, even though it is a separate area. But it's actually kind of nice. I usually use the shower when I'm on the boat, when it's just the 2 of us, because that allows me to keep it nice and clean and spray it down when needed. Again, sink, vanity, and then over here is a separate toilet. Now we're in the aft part of the port side hull, and again we have another move the carpet, another closing door, so this room can be completely shut off. Also has its own AC, also hatch, ventilation in the aft, ventilation on the side, and another hanging closet here, which we have more clothes in there. Our guests usually don't have anywhere to put their clothes because we take up every bit of space we can. What you're looking at, it looks like you're only seeing my head, like way above my head.
It's not.
Okay. All right. You want to just leave that one? I'll start over.
Let's place it.
All right. There's an area up top for laying out the
shut once I move the carpet. Move the carpet.